Actually, I'm going to start this solo, and I hope you'll all join with me as you figure it out. I'm going to sing, "Come and Go With Me to That Land." Come and go with me to that land, come and go with me to that land, come and go with me to that land where I am bound. Come and go with me to that land, come and go with me to that land, come and go with me to that land where I am bound. Sing it with me. Come and go with me to that land, come and go with me to that land, come and go with me to that land.
Dean Fleischner is here in representation of President Dennison, who could not make it here tonight. Dean Fleischner.
Shucks, I think I'll correct that, Betty. I'm sorry. I'm Jim Fleidner, Dean of the College of Arts and Sciences. I'm very pleased to read a message to you from President Dennison. I wish he were here because I think some of us have been here for several presidents or many presidents, recognize him as the most forceful advocate of community and togetherness that we've had for many years. Yeah, here? Okay. Anyway, I'm going to read that message from President Dennison, and I'll repeat once again that those of us who have been here for many years and served under many presidents, I think would agree that he's been the most forceful advocate of togetherness and a sense of community of the presidents we've had in the last many years. So here's a message then from President Dennison. Good evening, and thank you for coming together for this annual vigil to celebrate the life and accomplishments of the great American, the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. I regret my absence, and I hope you will forgive me. Pressing business in Helena requires that I miss the vigil for the first time since I came to Missoula 5 years ago. Rest assured, I am here with you in spirit and purpose. At the University of Montana and in the Missoula community, we share a deep commitment to the principles and example of Martin Luther King. Bearing witness to that enduring commitment, we began gathering on this campus for this annual vigil 2 years before the state finally adopted legislation recognizing the importance of King's legacy. We take great pride in that fact, and we intend to fulfill our responsibility to see that all Montanans understand and appreciate the lessons taught by Dr. King about the benefits of diversity and the power of nonviolence as a premise of peace and harmony. We assemble here this evening from a firm conviction that our society has the vitality and dynamic to show the world how diversity and nonviolence benefits all humanity. I continue to believe, as did Martin Luther King, that this country remains true to its ideals, refined and tested in revolution and civil war, and repudiates violence as a dysfunctional means of implementing them. As one of our greatest presidents put the point, our society stands as a beacon to all humanity, the world's last best hope to realize peace and harmony. But we can ill afford to rest content with rhetoric. We have much to do to assure the realization of those ideals within our own society. If we mean to have an influence on the emerging global society, we must demonstrate daily the reality of our commitment to those ideals. And we can never allow the dream to fade, the dream that made Dr. King's life worth celebrating. We have a responsibility to accept the challenge embodied in the legacy. Failure to do so will mean the end to the grand American experiment in a free society of equal citizens. As I think about the King legacy and the significance of our annual vigil, I feel a powerful sense of pride in this community. We have our differences, and we certainly have not eliminated controversy and argument on the campus or the community. If we had, I, for one, would worry. For our great strength as a community grows from and rests solidly upon our willingness as citizens to enter passionately but respectfully into a civil dialogue about matters of importance among people who care. On the campus and in Missoula, the King legacy lives on, enshrined in the workings of our community. I return now to the departure point and salute you as you join together to celebrate and pay tribute to a leader who helped show the way. Thank you so much for your commitment.
Thank you very much. Now we will have Mayor Timmis, Mayor of Missoula.
Thanks very much, Betty, and thanks to the African American Student Association for sponsoring this event. It's with some regret that for the first time I'm not able to share the podium with President Dennison, and I would like to thank the university for its commitment to this event, and especially to thank President Dennison for his steadfast support of not only this event, but for the values that underlie it. And on behalf of the city and indeed of the community of Missoula, I want to thank him and thank all of those on the campus who have been involved in organizing this and in carrying it forward through the years. And I want to thank you for inviting the community to be a part of this. Most of all, I want to thank and congratulate the people who have turned out in ever larger numbers to celebrate this day and the values that Dr. King is remembered for. I also want to underscore, though, some of the thoughts that we heard down at the courthouse from Reverend Garnis Holmes, who reminded us of something that I think we do need to remember. And that is that in commemorating Dr. King, that it is important that we not simply congratulate ourselves in the position that we are able to take together here, but to remember that the real challenge, the real meaning of Dr. King's ministry was to remind us that we always have to look within, that we always have to challenge ourselves, that it is not enough simply to congratulate ourselves that we have got it figured out and a lot of other people don't. If that's as far as we go, then we will not overcome. I think especially following up on the election of last year, that it's important that we not rest content in an event like this with simple platitudes or with simply congratulating ourselves. The election of last year should remind us that we have serious work to do. And the work, I am convinced, has to begin with each one of us. It is not enough, and this election should show us that it is not enough, simply to pursue a politics that continues to try to stretch a tent over an ever larger number of people who can identify themselves as, in one way or another, victims. That kind of politics has not worked and will not work. And until we begin to remind ourselves of the deeper meaning of Dr. King's ministry, we will continue to fail with our politics. Above all, we need to remind ourselves that his politics were not the politics of self-righteousness. They were not, certainly, the politics of power over, but neither were they the politics that drew strength from standing against other people. Rather, they were the politics that through which we always should remind ourselves that those who we consider to be our enemies, those that we most consider to be in the wrong, carry within themselves that same spark of humanity that we're here to celebrate. And unless we're always challenging ourselves to reach out, to find that spark of humanity, to find that element of good in those that we are convinced are dead wrong, then we will not overcome. But what we really have the capacity to do, thanks to the teaching of Dr. King and others, is to overcome our own smallness, our own fear, our own sense of being against other people, and to reach out to the humanity that in fact we all do share. It's that I believe that we need to recommit ourselves here to this evening.
Hello, my name is Mike Roosevelt, student here at the University of Montana and Vice President of the African American Student Association. I'd like to thank everybody for attending. Given the multicultural nature of our society, the African American Student Association has decided to ask a cross-section of individuals from varied backgrounds and cultures to share very briefly how Dr. King's ideals and principles have impacted on them. I personally feel that Dr. King's vision has allowed African American students like myself to attend distinguished universities like the University of Montana. My older brother was past president of the Black Student Union, and he led the first one of these marches we had inside Missoula, and I'm just very glad to be a participant in this year's ceremonies. Thank you very much.
My name is Ralph Stone. Can you hear me? I'm with the Missoula Advocates for Social Justice, which was a group formed about 18 months ago, the purpose of which was to monitor hate crimes and to educate the public about discrimination based upon sexual orientation, gender, race, and religion. We also try to keep tabs on the far right in Montana and in the Missoula area, including the militia movement and similar groups that we think are fomenting hatred and not doing any good for us. I think Dr. King's memory means most to me in terms of his oratory. I think there were a lot of people who were saying things similar to what Dr. King was saying, but he said them in a way that was so eloquent and so uplifting. And that's what I take with me. He was the only public leader for whom I cried when he died. although there were others, of course, who made a big impact upon me, but he was the only one, and to this day is, and I think that says something about Dr. King. I was much taken with his concern for racial justice, of course, and I'm speaking a little longer because Ed said we had a little more time, but for racial justice and for nonviolence and for his pacifism. But I think what made the most impression upon me at the time was when Dr. King came out against the Vietnam War in 1965, even though he knew it was unpopular and it would cost him some support in the political community. And then later, in 67 and 68, when he was active in organizing the Poor People's March, and when he said that the evils of capitalism must be connected to militarism and must be connected to racism, Dr. King saw the problems interrelated and interconnected, and that was one of his great strengths, and we do him an injustice, I think, if we don't see that his was a very radical message, even though he may have spoken in terms of nonviolence. So I think he has a message for all of us who believe in diversity and recreating the ideals that this community believes in, and I think that we all believe in.
My name is Kara Cummings. I'm a junior here at the university, and I just wanted to say that this morning I was thinking a lot about this, what was going to happen today, and I heard this radio address, and this woman who spoke really inspired me, and she mentioned something about how what Dr. King had was a passion that people did not have in this time and age, because so many things are controlled by things that are mechanical and not human. And what Dr. King has is this human passion, and that works. And she also reminded me that that something that's been coming up again and again tonight is there's a responsibility that we have, not only to ourselves, to change ourselves, and that this responsibility goes back to our elected officials, and that if we want to change things, we need to take that passion within ourselves and take that to our elected officials and bring them up and make them fulfill the promises that we have elected them for. If we want to change AFDC, we have to keep pushing them to do that, and just reminding our elected officials of what the responsibility that they have for us. Thanks.
Hello, my name is Andre Floyd, and I'm a musician in your community, and I've lived in Montana since 1968, with a short stint going out of town to Chicago for a while. And I've noticed something about our state, and that is that we are still in a level of tolerance and not acceptance toward one another, toward the different races. We tend to take our cues from MTV, and we don't look to our neighbors, we don't ask questions, we don't even really want to know, but it's nice to see everyone here, because this is really what it's all about, us getting together, asking questions, and unlearning the hate that may have been taught to us over the years. We have to somehow redirect our knowledge about what we are toward each other, learn to accept one another, and hopefully move from there into a higher ground. But it's really nice to see everyone here, and it's a wonderful feeling that we can all get together and express some sort of peaceful acceptance of the fact that we are moving forward and we're moving upward, and I'm really proud to be a Montanan when I look out here and see everybody's faces, and thanks a lot.
My name is Heidi Levine. I'm a senior here in psychology, and I'm from Los Angeles. This will be the end of my third and last year here in Missoula. And Dr. King has been my idol since I read his speech in a program in 6th grade. And throughout my life, he's brought one thing to me, and that's hope. And when I hear his name or when I hear other people speak his name, it just reinstills the hope in me that he brought to me when I was 12 years old. And in the 3 years I've been here, for the first year there were about 10 people here for Martin Luther King's birthday, and it's turned out to be this, and it's incredible. And it brings more hope to me to see this, and I believe that's his dream, and someday I hope that people will start, try not to cry, people will start recognizing differences and appreciating them rather than being afraid of them.
And I'm the director of the Jeanette Rankin Peace Resource Center here in Missoula. We work for peace and social justice all year round. And I welcome all of you to join us in our programs. We have peace potlucks and global forums every month. We have a special conflict resolution program teaching grade school kids how to resolve their conflicts without using violence. And a whole variety of other programs that let you get involved with your community to work to peace. And I think what Martin Luther King Day means most to me is service. It's a really good opportunity to work with all of you, old friends and new, for a purpose and for a goal. And I look forward to the rest of this week and to years to come, and every day serving just a little bit for this community. Thank you.
My name is Kofi Lameona, President of African Student Association. The meaning Dr. King's message has for us Africans, I'm from Africa, of course. It's probably not the same here, but it's such a powerful message. And whenever you say that, I have a dream, or let's freedom ring, it's so powerful and brings this message of hope, which most of the people don't understand, but it's just something powerful which just gets out of them. I don't know how to explain that, but that's the way we feel it, and we're all glad that it turns out to be this big event. Thank you all for coming, and thank you African American Student Association for doing this. We all appreciate it. Thank you.
My name is Peter Schober. I serve as pastor at University Congregational Church and president this year of the Missoula Ministerial Association. And Edward never tells preacher to talk longer. And I'm not going to. We were asked to say a few words about what Dr. King meant to us. And I think to a lot of folks who find themselves being pastored, in Dr. King, we found someone who was a preacher's preacher, and who showed us that we cannot have faith without doing the work of justice. And we can't separate the two. You can't take justice away from faith, and you can't take faith away from justice. And I think for myself too, I reflect today in remembering the dream that he set out before us. And that I'm reminded, and I think we're all reminded, that we can't just remember the dream. We've got to do the dream, or it doesn't mean anything. And that's what we're here to do tonight. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Alice Eccles. I'm currently working with the Forest Service, and I'm an active member of the African American Women's Support Group. I would just like to say that Dr. King's dream, it truly means a great deal to me because it has enabled me to be educated, to strive for all the goals that I have. And I would just like to say that through Dr. King, he has allowed generations and future generations just to have dreams and goals and to just strive for everything and all that they can be. I mean, there's just so much that you could say. I think everyone knows truly knows how he was just a great man, just great and powerful. Thank you.
My name is Betty Wing. I'm president of the American Association of University Women here in Missoula. Our number one priority in our organization is equity and education for women and girls, but our second priority is diversity. And because of that, we put on the Hate Crimes Conference in November. And sometimes when we think about hate crimes and look ahead into the future, we do get frightened because we see anger in this country. But I think if there's anything that Dr. King and the whole civil rights movement meant to me, it was courage. They had an incredible amount of courage to do what they did. And I think if we all stick together, we can find the courage it takes. Thank you.
My name is Kamiko Austin, and I would just like to say that what Dr. King meant, his inspiration to me was that he believed that all people were equal, so what he fought for was equality for humankind, and that was just very impressive to me, and it impresses me to the point that I understand a lot of things you don't appreciate when you're young, when you're younger. My parents tried to teach me to appreciate it growing up in the 70s, but I can appreciate what he done, because were it not for what he done, this wouldn't be possible for me today. I wouldn't be able to stand before people of diverse backgrounds and be able to speak that way. I would be just separated and able to speak to people of my own kind. But I think I'm grateful that Dr. King realized that all people were our own kind, and that all of us were just as good as anybody else, regardless of our race, background, religion, or whatever. Thank you.
My name is Lori Smith, and I am a senior in education here at the university. I work as assistant coordinator in education in Missoula County Public Schools, and I'm also an enrolled member of the Lakota Sioux Nation. The spirit of Martin Luther King Jr. reminds me, as a representative of Native Indian America, that we must continue to sever the bonds of our silence, because it is our personal obligation to inform and become informed about this country's history of criminal injustice to its native people through the subsequent spiritual, cultural genocide in the name of Christian civilization. Our silence has yet to serve us, and we cannot afford to accept the alternative.
I'm the Reverend Grace Lorenz. I'm on the executive board of the Montana Association of Churches, as well as being a member of the Missoula Ministerial Association. And I would like to say that it has been a pleasure to organize and help work with the worship service. But shortly before Christmas, I was assaulted 2 feet outside my back door. And I have learned, as she learned to tell you, sound is better than silence. Several years ago I was raped and I kept silent for 20 years, and it did me no good. This time I am saying we must stop violence. We must put an end to it. We must work toward nonviolent conflict resolutions, and I am here to speak out tonight for that reason. We cannot remain silent. Let us speak out, speak up, and be heard. Thank you.
My name is Kelly, and I got the Listen plaque, and Dr. Martin Luther King linked to me to go to the same school and play together.
I'm Edward Sanford, Director of the African American Studies Program. When I think of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., I think of opportunity and hope. Thank you.
I'm going to sing a solo right now that I heard 3 years ago, actually, singing when I was singing at a church in Harlem on Martin Luther King Day.
And the melody comes back to me every so often. It's, as a person, as a musician, you hear melodies all the time, and most of them go out in one ear and out the other, but this melody has hung with me so long and gives me a great deal of comfort, and I hope you'll enjoy it too.
There's a man going round taking names, taking names. There's a man going round taking names, taking names. He has took our movement's name and has set our souls aflame. There's a man going round taking names, taking names. Oh, freedom is that man taking names, taking names. Oh, freedom, our movement's name, and has left the bigot in shame. Oh, freedom is the man taking names, taking names. Oh, death is the man taking names, taking names. Oh, death is the man taking names, taking names. He has took my Martin's name and has left my heart in pain. Oh, death is the man taking names, taking names, taking names.
Now we're going to see Dr. King's I Had a Dream speech.
Rough places will be made plain, and the crooked places will be made straight, and the glory of the Lord shall be revealed, and all flesh shall see it together. This is our hope. This is the faith that I go back to the South with. With this faith, we will be able to hew out of the mountain of despair a stone of hope. With this faith, we will be able to transform
up and speak after hearing that. My name is Logan Jordan. I'm a vice president of the African American Student Association. On my way over here, I had a whole speech, I guess you could say, prepared on what I wanted to say. But as I say again, how do you get up and speak after hearing that? Dr. King means a lot to a lot of people. But one thing I want to tell everyone is that Dr. King did not only fight for the rights of just African Americans, he fought for the rights of everyone. Everyone who has ever been oppressed or who had had any wrong done to them at any time. This is what Dr. King was fighting for. And not only was he fighting himself, but he was inspiring in each and every person that he spoke to stand up and fight themselves. And I think that's what's most important about the Dr. King legacy. Because even though the man is gone, his legacy is still here with us today. And as we light our candles that a lot of you got passed out today, I would like for each one of you to think to yourself of how in your community and in your life, how you can affect someone else, how you can help fight the wrong that you might see being done to someone else. Because if each one of us in this room alone does one act of kindness, and in turn that person does one act of kindness, that could be a lot of people right there affected. And that's what Dr. King was trying to get at in his speech here, that when everyone can come together and work as one group, then we'll all be together. As everyone is lighting their candles, which there's matches I believe being passed around, we have a song that we like to sing. It's a song that everyone knows, This Little Light of Mine. We're going to sing 2 verses of that. And then we're going to have a special musical being done by R. Kelly over here. He's going to be playing Judas McBain. Thank you.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Building a new world, I'm gonna let it shine. Building a new world, I'm gonna let it shine. Building a new world, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.
Please be seated. Now, while Ed Kelly plays Judas McBain, I want everyone to take some time to reflect upon what Dr. Martin Luther King meant, what his ideals meant, and what he means to you as an individual.
behalf of the African American Student Association, I extend sincere appreciation to Mayor Kennis and Dean Fleitner for taking the time to be here despite their demanding schedules, and for conveying messages of hope and inspiration in a true spirit of unity. Mayor Kennis and Dean Fleitner, your presence also communicates a deeper message of commitment to the virtues and values that Dr. King emphasized, as well as your respect for a multicultural environment, a fact that many people are struggling to accept. I express thanks to all of the community and student leaders and organizations for their unflinching efforts in providing guidance and support for encouragement and creative ideas in making this program a success. I also acknowledge Stephen Count for his wonderful vocal piece, as well as for leading us in song. This program would not have been possible without the keen interest of our friends and supporters. Because of people like you, we can overcome the barriers that keep us apart and keep Dr. King's dream alive until it becomes a reality. Last but not least, I extend a sincere thank you to Dr. Edward Sanford for his total involvement in assisting with the organization of this vigil and for his work as advisor to the African American Student Association. His energy and his ideas serve to motivate us and to keep our enthusiasm alive. We are happy to have you here, Dr. Sanford. And now I ask you to join in singing We Shall Overcome, which is located on the back of your program, as we march to Christ the King Church for a brief reception. Also in your program is a list of events for the rest of the week. A heartfelt thank you to all.
I mean, like, say, let's open the borders up, you know?
Well, must be.
With his speech, he's sick.